is the German Touring Car Masters. Today, coming to you from the Grand Prix course at the Nürburgring. The Nürburgring Castle, an historic site for the tourist as well as the race fan. The castle overlooks one of the most famous racetracks in the world. And what a view. This is the Nürburgring. Incidentally, this is also the kind of weather you can expect sometimes here. Sometimes you can't even see what you're looking at now. It's been the home of all types of racing, from trucks to Grand Prix, and today, touring cars. Touring cars have been one of the staples of the racing in the Eifel. The German Touring Car Masters is in its second year. It's following after the very successful German Touring Car Championship, which took a break for a couple of years. But now the manufacturers, the drivers, and the fans are back. The track itself has been renovated. Millions of dollars were spent to bring it into the modern ages. For the fans, well, you can take a break and try the museum. And if you're really a fan, this is Nirvana. But now it's race day here in the Eifel Mountains. Jochen Winkelhock, one of the fans' favorites. On the right, Bernd Schneider, the man who won the two races at Hockenheim. And of course, the view of the new Grand Prix circuit. And this is the surprise young driver of the weekend, Martin Tomczyk. 19 years old, the youngest driver in the field, and sitting on the front row. Another of the young Audi pilots, Ekstrom. Aiello, Laurent Aiello, another of the Audi powerhouse drivers. They're hoping to break what's been a miserable year and a half for them.
You know, when you start from pole position, I think the target is to stay in this position. I don't know whether it's going to be easy or not, but anyway, I think we're going to try hard together with Martin Tomczyk to stay in the front row for the second race, because this race is, as you probably know, like a second qualify. And we'll see what will be the result at the end of the weekend.
Here's how they qualified for the qualifying race. Aiello and Tomczyk on the front row. Next row, Bernd Schneider in a Mercedes with Marcel Fessler, two of the top Mercedes drivers, right behind them. Then the rest of the field works its way through. Young Thomas Jäger along with Christian Abt, the co-owner of the Abt Sportsline racing team. Christian Albers and Matthias Ekstrom, two new rookie drivers in the series, qualifying well. Peter Dumbreck from England and Yves Olivier. And now they roll out onto the course. It's wet. It has rained just a little bit before the start of the race. This could make things difficult. 22 cars have qualified. And these are the durable fans that have come to watch them run. And here we go. On the left is Aiello, on the right is Tomczyk, and we're underway here at the Nürburgring in the German Touring Car Masters. They've got a right-hander, a wide track, and then it narrows down into a very tight right-hander. It looks like Schneider is in there in third, Fessler is fourth. Cars bumping as we go through the corner, and Fessler is spinning, Schneider is spinning. Cars are going off the track. It looks like they're the only two, though, that have not been able to keep going. Meanwhile, Laurent Aiello continues to roll as parts fly left and right in the back of the pack. This will take some sorting out to take care of. But look at the Audis. 1, 2, and 3 as more cars spin in the back. Olivier, one of them, along with Thomas Jäger, one of the young stars of the Mercedes team. The cars sorting themselves out. You can see from the helicopter shot that the rain has been sprinkling, but not really raining, but it's enough to make the track wet. Oh, and look at this on the left. Winkelhock has gone off the course. Jochen Winkelhock is off the course, one of the favorites. Boy, has he had a tough time. He had a miserable weekend at Hockenheim, and now he's off the course here. They hope they can get him back in. Look at the cars sliding. It's like driving on ice. That was Timo Schneider's car. Manuel Reuter's car is off and hits the fence. And this is just a qualifying race of 7 laps.
I was too quick and lost the car in 5th gear and spun then, and then the car came backwards to the wet grass, and then I lost it completely, and the impact was really a big one.
More problems for the Opel crew. Timo Schneider, involved in a collision somewhere, is going to have to find some new aerodynamics. Meanwhile, the Audis can kind of chuckle to themselves as they're running 1, 2, and 3 way out in front. The Mercedes teams are left to battle it out among themselves. And that's exactly what they're doing. That is the Fessler car. He too, minus a hood, trying a new aerodynamic style here in the Eifel Mountains. There's the rundown after the first lap, and the Audi fans can't believe it. 1 whole year of nothing but despair. Some hope at Hockenheim, and now they're out in front. And more problems as the drivers continue to work their way around this dicey course. Take another look at that start. You can see that the cars were a little loose. There was some bumping going on, and that's when Fessler went, that's when Schneider went, and everybody else went around to try to avoid the trouble. It's sort of like a 5 o'clock traffic jam. Another look from the side. Actually, Fessler was lucky that he only lost the hood here. Schneider got off fairly light, going up into the grass away from all the traffic. And could bring the car back, but he drops all the way back to 13th. He's got a long haul ahead of him here. And there's Ekstrom. He is the 3rd of the Audis up front, and he's got pressure. Peter Dumbreck is right behind him. Then comes Pedro Lamy, then comes Marcel Fessler. But Ekstrom, another of the young drivers in the series, keeping the Audi flag alive here in the opening moments. He's only 22 years old. Tomczak is 19. Couldn't get much younger to get into this field. This is one of the veteran touring car drivers you're riding with right now, Uwe Alsen. Alsen, known as one of those who's not afraid to bump a door to get by. Right now, working his way through like everybody else, trying to get through the difficult course. You can see how slippery it gets. It really is like driving on ice. Fessler and Dumbreck trying to work their problems out. As you can see, Ekstrom has fallen back. A small collision here between Schneider and Michel Bartels. That had nothing to do with the weather. That was just a friendly bump saying, get out of my way. Dumbreck running 3rd right now, holding up the Mercedes colors as a yellow right there in the bottom of your screen, followed by Martin Tomczak, are running 1 and 2, and look at the space between themselves and the next cars. Fessler wants to get inside Dumbreck. Can he get by? Yep. Or nope. Yeah, he did. Marcel Fessler moves into 3rd, and everybody gets squirrely again. That corner must be damp. It must still be some rain or something falling there. The cars go through there bumping. These folks are having a good Sunday afternoon drive, Jaeger and Lamy. Meanwhile, Fessler continues to try to hold off Peter Dumbreck. The battle is now for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And when you keep in mind, this is only 7 laps. It's a qualifying race, and only the top 3 cars get points. And it's a meager point total at that. We probably had more damage than we had the entire weekend at Hockenheim already. Great shot going into the corners. You can see the cars working through the difficult part of the course here, heading back to the start-finish line. 2 abreast by the hotel on the left. And there's Thomas Jaeger. Jaeger, really one of the fine young drivers, fell back in the pack after an opening skirmish, but now has worked his way back up among the leaders. He gets by Marcel Fessler. But keep in mind, Fessler has a little bit of aerodynamic difference in the rest of these cars. He's got no hood. Dumbreck running third. Jaeger has fought all the way back up. What a great drive for the young star. He dropped back all the way to 14th after the collisions up front. And now he's running up with the leaders. Dumbreck continues to run third. Jaeger is fourth. Then Fessler. Pedro Lamy is behind him. And for the Opel fans, well, they're back a ways. They're having a tough day. They really worked at it. They've lost Manuel Reuter. It looked like Winkelhock had some problems, so they're going to keep working at it. Oddly enough, it's an Opel, though, according to the charts, that has the fastest lap. Alain Menu has the fastest lap in the qualifying race. He, too, had problems in that opening skirmish, but now he's got the car together and is pulling forward. But that's the battle. Third, fourth, fifth. Dumbreck, Jaeger, Fessler. All of them young drivers looking to make a name for themselves. Pedro Lamy is running fourth. He's in his second year as we're in our last lap. And look at this. Bernd Schneider has moved all the way up to fifth position. Now that does not mean points, but it certainly will mean a better starting position in the feature race. Schneider was one of those involved in the initial spin, and it sent him way back in the pack, and he's worked his way back up into fifth position. He dropped all the way back to 13th, and in the 6 laps has had to fight his way forward. There's the battle in the pack right there involving Uwe Alsen. You're riding with Marcel Fessler right now. That's the car without the hood. We're heading our way now into the final moments of this qualifying race, the second race weekend of the season in the German Touring Car Masters. So far today, it's been an Audi-Mercedes battle. Opel still working on the problems to bring themselves forward. And this is the man of the hour as far as the Audi fans are concerned. Laurent Aiello suffered through a difficult year last year, comes home the winner in the qualifying race in the German Touring Car Masters event here in the Eifel Mountains of Germany at the Nürburgring. And young Tomczyk, Martin Tomczyk, is finishing second. The rest of the pack works its way in. Dumbreck will finish third, Jaeger fourth, Lamy fifth, Schneider will finish sixth. Then comes Alsen, Fessler, Turner, and Ekstrom. There it is. And the best Opel, well, it's all the way back in 14th position. Yves Olivier. So the Opel crew, not quite as happy as they would like to be, but certainly a young driver who is happy is Peter Dumbreck from England, finishing third.
Just began raining just before the race, so it was very slippy. We're all on slick tyres, so into the first corner, everyone was pushing too hard and some cars spun. I just managed to get round, and I found myself in fourth position, I think. Then I was able to overtake one more car and up to third place, so now I have third on the grid for the main race.
And now the mechanics have to go to work to get the cars ready for the second race of the day, and the Audi crew has to go to work, and I'm sure it's a lighter day for them trying to get things ready. Boy, they can be really happy. This is the 24-hour service Mercedes team, Keke Rosberg's group. And these are the dedicated fans of the Eifel Mountains. They come here not knowing what the weather may be, but they come anyway, because this is the German Touring Car Series. Here's the lineup for the feature race. 22 laps here on the Grand Prix course. Aiello and Tomczyk once again leading the pack. Aiello winning the qualifying race. Audi certainly a very happy crew today. Then comes Peter Dumbreck. He's on the far side. On the near side is Thomas Jaeger's Mercedes representatives. Then comes Pedro Lamy and the Keke Rosberg car. Next to him is Bernd Schneider. Of course, he's a teammate of Dumbreck. Schneider with a great drive up front. Then there's Uwe Alsen on the far side, and next to him is his teammate Marcel Fessler, both very strong competitors. Fessler from Switzerland has had a couple of great races, both at Hockenheim and then here. Turner on the outside, another Rosberg car, and then another of the Audis, this is Ekstrom, Matthias Ekstrom. So there's your starting lineup. Now let's see what happens. There is the Reuter car being brought back in. No chance to repair the car. That will not be starting. And Christian Abt will be starting from pit lane. So we'll have 21 cars underway. And look at the jump Aiello gets. Laurent Aiello takes the lead. And right behind him is Tomczyk. Now let's see what happened. It's not raining. It's a drier course as we go into that first corner again. Oh, and look at Aiello go through. And Tomczyk has made a mistake. Martin Tomczyk made a mistake. He has lost at least second place. Jaeger and Tomczyk bounce. And, well, learning lesson for the young driver from Germany. Made a mistake going into the corner. And you don't do that among this crew of drivers. Thomas Jaeger, another of the young stars, running in second position. Boy, has he put on quite a show. But look at the show that Aiello has, the difference already between himself and the second place car. That was he under the right side of your screen. Then comes Jaeger, then comes Tomczyk. Bernd Schneider is now in fourth position. Looks like he just lost it going into the corner. Bumped a little bit going around. That was Dumbreck that suffered that one. So Dumbreck got through the wreck in the first one, but got bumped here in the second one and has dropped all the way back to sixth position. But Bernd Schneider right there running in that third of that group of cars behind Aiello. Then comes Pedro Lamy behind him. Dumbreck has fallen into position after that. Whoa, it's getting tight coming through. Ekstrom wanted to come around, couldn't do it. It's not going to be easy moving up in this field of cars. Things are pretty equal. There's your top seven. Alsen running up there in eighth position. Turner, sort of the quiet driver that no one knows much about, but he certainly is running well up in ninth. Ekstrom, another of the rookies, and running in 10th position. The cars now effectively sorting themselves out. Coming into the pits is Husmann in the Mercedes. Now you have to realize in this race, every car has to pit at least once and change all four tires. When you do it is your business. Now Husmann may feel if I get the pit stop out of the way early, I might be able to make up the difference and then be able to pull ahead here somewhere. At least that's his thinking on this deal. He certainly can hope so. Anyway, that is Turner that went off the course. Man we were talking about. There comes Uwe Alsen moving up to try to get around him. This is the battle back in the pack with Lamy and Fessler. There's a three-car pack for second, third, and fourth. Then comes another group of Mercedes for fifth, sixth, and seventh positions. Lamy, Fessler, and Dumbreck are running in that group of three. Well, that's actually a group of four with Alsen there. But right now, the Mercedes drivers sort of sorting things out among themselves. You can see the battle as Fessler gets by Lamy, who bumps into Dumbreck, and Alsen will try to move inside and can't do it. So Dumbreck will swing in behind Pedro Lamy. Meanwhile, Fessler has moved up a slot. You get a good look now as the car is coming through, headed into the chicane after the start-finish line. This is the Grand Prix course. They do run the other course once in a while, which is a very short version, but not this time. Albers comes into the Mercedes pit. A good pit stop, about 8 seconds. This one taking a little longer. 10, whoa, way long. You lose a lot of time here. As was seen in Hockenheim, both Fessler and Schneider use the pit stops to their advantage to move up in the field. But you can't afford to take a long time in the pits, especially if you're going to pit early. What you're hoping then is other cars will take longer and you can make up the difference on the track, but that's a little hard. Uwe Alsen giving you a view of the action ahead of him. Christian Abt had tried to go out on the course, didn't make it. So the chief has to park the car and watch as everybody else does the racing for the Audi team. He has to be sad about his situation, but when you figure how well the rest of the team's doing, wow, are they in there? As you saw in the qualifying race, we had a collision right after the start, and that's racing. Well, the part that's broken, unfortunately, we can't fix it quickly. More action in that tight chicane leading up to the start-finish line. That was Pedro Lamy who took a rather different line as Uwe Alsen gets by him. There's Thomas Jaeger, who continues to put on a great show with Tomczyk right behind him. So Jaeger, who has been a very strong driver even last year, but not strong enough, they put him in what we would call a sort of a second-class car because he has not got the newest car. He's got a little older car, but he's certainly got the newer motor. And look how well he's doing. He's running ahead of Schneider. So Thomas Jaeger certainly is putting on quite a show. Jaeger had qualified third at Hockenheim, finished third and fifth. And then here at the Nürburgring, he qualified fifth. And in the qualifying race, he finished fourth. So the young driver certainly is putting on a great show. Laurent Aiello has registered the fastest lap here in the second race. The Audi fans probably can't believe their eyes on the great show that they're putting on. Another putting on a great show is Bernd Schneider. He has come from way back, worked his way up into the field. They've still got pit stops ahead of them. And the pit stops, as we've seen in the past, certainly have changed the complexion of the races. Timing is everything. At least there are no raindrops that we had like we watched in the qualifying race from the helicopter view. There goes Aiello. He's got a big lead over Jaeger. Then comes Tomczyk. Then comes Bernd Schneider. What a great mix of drivers. Aiello, 24-hour of Le Mans victor, out in front, 31 years of age. Then come the young Tigers once again. Jaeger at 24, Tomczyk at 19. And then the defending champion behind them, Bernd Schneider. He's 36. So the young drivers certainly are making a place for themselves in the touring car scene in Germany. And next to the Formula One, touring cars are what the Germans go for. The series have always been a success, and they're trying again to bring it up to what was before the German Touring Car Championship. And thanks to the work of Norbert Haug and Volker Stritzek, who got it started for Mercedes and for Opel, and then, of course, the app team that came in to help out. Dumbreck comes into the pits. And Turner is coming into the pits. Remember, the good times are between about 7, 8, 9 seconds, somewhere in there. Pretty good. But now the field will become a little bit mixed up as the cars come in to make their pit stops. And as everybody slowly works their way through the pit stops, then they'll start to sort things out. There's Husmann trying to make up some time on Dumbreck, but he's not going to make it. Dumbreck holds position. Husmann does not get by him. Husmann, you may remember, is the one that came in way early trying to take advantage of just this situation. And that didn't quite work for him there. There's your second, third, and fourth place group. And they're going to have to come in shortly. Who's going to pit first, and what's the effect going to be? That's what it's coming down to. 22 laps of racing. Each team has its own strategy of when they want to stop. Probably the most experienced in this, and one of the most experienced, is Bernd Schneider and his team. He ran a lot of the GT races, which have pit stops and certainly have a very major effect on the outcome of the race. So he has an idea of what he wants to do. The team certainly has the experience to figure out how to do it. Now it's a case of, is the timing right? Is he going to be able to take advantage? Look how he's dropped back from the other two. What really is amazing, though, is Aiello, who is putting some breathing space, as you saw just a moment ago there, between himself and the other cars. Maybe you'll see Aiello. There he goes to the right. Then comes the Mercedes, then the Audi, and then another Mercedes. The Audi seemed to make up some good time going through that very tight chicane. They're running a very small wing. They're not tilted up at all. They're going for speed. In fact, Aiello got rid of the little flippers on the front of the car just in hopes of getting through the corners better. And right now, no one's going to argue with him. He's out in front. And so far, it does belong to him. Now you get a chance to ride with the man out in front. And he's going in the pits. Laurent Aiello is headed into the pits. So the first of the top cars heads into the pits. He hits the speed trap, gets down to a little over 30 miles an hour to get to his pits. And now all eyes are on the clock. Thomas Jaeger inherits the lead as Aiello's crew goes to work. Watch the clock. This is long. It's long. 9 seconds. For the leader, that can make a difference. Now it's going to be up to the cars running in the first, second, and third slots to see if they can make up that time difference. If not, when they come back out, they'll come out behind this man, who has led for the first 7 laps of this feature race here in the Eifel Mountains of Germany at the Nürburgring in the German Touring Car Masters. The camera's on Aiello, who now is back in about 14th position. But everybody else has to pit ahead of him, just about everybody else. He has a long haul. Right there's your leading group. Jaeger is out in front. Then comes Tomczyk, and then comes Bernd Schneider. Who is going to pit when? Those are the questions that will make up the difference in the race, and it's going to happen here in the next 2 to 3 laps. Aiello already in. He's got fresh tires. Here comes Schneider. Bernd Schneider heads to the pits. This is your defending champion. He won the races in Hockenheim. Whoa! And Dumbreck takes a ride. His teammate, Dumbreck, really takes a ride going off the course. Looks like he kept it, though. And he's okay. And here comes Bernd Schneider. Gets into his pits. The AMG crew ready to go to work. Remember Aiello's time. 7 or 8 seconds. And Schneider's out quicker. Will it make a difference? Don't know yet. Olivier is in the pits. Teammate Emmanuel Reuter, who did not start the second race because of that accident in the first one. So your leader continues to be Thomas Jaeger, as the field continues to sort itself out after everyone goes into the pits. Jaeger's going to have to pit here pretty quick if he wants to stay up with the leaders. Tomczyk right behind him. The 2 young drivers, Jaeger in his second year, Tomczyk in his first year in German touring car racing. And here they are, leading the pack. What a great performance. Through the chicane. This is where one or both could go into the pits. It's going to be Jaeger into the pits. Thomas Jaeger heads to the pits, and 19-year-old Martin Tomczyk has taken the lead in a German touring car event. Who would have thought it? Here comes Jaeger. Down to the speed. This has to seem like snail speed to them after all this heading down the course. Amazing. You get up to 130, 140 miles an hour in the straight, and you go 30 into this pit. The Jaeger crew goes to work. It's long. Something's wrong. This is going to hurt him. 10 seconds. That most likely will hurt things when they sort it all out. There goes Aiello. There goes Schneider. and Jaeger tucks in behind them. But Aiello and Schneider are now running back in about the, well, if I'm not mistaken, they must be back in about the 7th or 8th position, as the rest of the cars are all starting to pit now. We have Laurent Aiello in the picture, but the leader is 19-year-old Martin Tomczyk. He is the teammate of Aiello in an Audi. And Bernd Schneider, who had that problem in the first race, fought back to finish 5th, has now worked his way up behind the potential leader here in the 22-lap German Touring Car's second major race of the season. Schneider, because of his success in touring cars, gaining the nickname the Dominator. He has just been super when it comes to the touring cars. He's also very, very good in the rain, which was shown last year here at the Nürburgring. But right now, it looks like the Audi crew have figured this track out, have figured their car out. Unless something drastic happens, you're not going to get by them too easily on the course. That's Hubert Haupt. He is about to be lapped, or, well, let's see what happens here. He didn't give him any room there. He's going to go through the chicane. Let's see if he gives him a room on the short chute. Aiello is not pulling inside to lap him, although Haupt may not have pitted. Therefore, Haupt has every right in the world to stay out there, but he's moving over. He was already quite a ways behind, and so he moved out of the way. Here comes Aiello and Schneider. They're making their charge to the front. But they are not in the lead. Tomczyk is in the lead, the 19-year-old. But the cameras stay on the cars that are probably the challenging for the lead within the next 2, 3, or 4 laps. Running third right now in that group is Jaeger. When he came out of the pits, he tucked in right behind them. And now it's a matter of trying to move forward to see if they can get there. And here comes Tomczyk into the pits. The 19-year-old heads to the pits. He's led for about 3 laps. What a great weekend he's had. One of the things he said about the weekend, if I can finish in the top 5, it's great. If I finish in the top 10, it's pretty good. Right now, it's great. The question is going to be, how good is he when he gets out? 10 seconds, that's a long time. There comes Aiello. There comes Schneider. There comes Jaeger, and behind him, Tomczyk. But they still are not up front. The leader on the track right now is Uwe Alsen, but he is not pitted. Your leader has not, Alsen is not pitted, but he is due in. And there's a problem here with the Mylander's car. Something happened. Something happened in that pit area with Bernd Mylander. He's not coming out. There's Aiello and Schneider, your 2 top cars of the day, working their way back to the front as the rest of the cars pit. Let's take a look what happened here with Mylander. He went away. Oh, and the jack in the tire. It was not out. And the tire's loose. Oh, and it pulls the equipment down, knocks over one of the crew. Oh, what a difficult situation here. Mylander got a signal, or thought he did, took off way too soon. Aiello continues to work with Bernd Schneider as they work toward the front. The leader now, Alsen, is in the pits. You just saw the leader under your screen going by. And Opel is now out in front. But Michel Bartels is not pitted. There's your leader right there. Your leader is Michel Bartels. So the Opel crews, who have had their share of problems, at least can say they've led here. Bartels took advantage of everybody else pitting. Now look at this going through the corner. Look how nicely Aiello uses the curves. The car very steady. Not quite the case with Bernd Schneider. The Audi boys have got their act together. But they're running second and third right now. Michel Bartels in an Opel is your leader. Bartels was way back in the pack and has stayed out on the track, not pitting, and is out in front. But you have to understand, he's got to pit sometime. Every car has to come into the pits and change all 4 tires. When is he going to do it? And will Aiello be able to catch him and get by him and make it a situation that doesn't count anymore? Right now, the Opel seems to be running very well in the straights. Look at the distance he gets there on the straight. They go into the corners. Let's see what happens here. This is the Audi corner, the chicane. Look how quickly he goes through, how squirrely Schneider goes through. Now he's made up space there. So the Audi makes up the space in the corners. Now let's take a look as they head down the long straight and see if that Opel pulls ahead. The Bartels car, prepared by the Holzer team, which is the #1 team for Opel. And Bartels, a very experienced driver in touring cars, had a victory several years ago at Wunsdorf. And that was one of his very few touring car victories, but he's always been in there battling. And look at this. Tomczyk, the rookie, the 19-year-old, has recorded the fastest lap in the race. What a great weekend for this newcomer to German touring car racing. Coming out of the Formula Series, stepping into a touring car. His first race weekend was certainly a disappointment. Things didn't go anywhere near like you would like to have had them go, and now all of a sudden, Tomczyk is running up with the leaders. Because at Hockenheim, he had qualified 18th, finished 20th, and then didn't start the second race. Of course, you have to take something else into consideration. The Audis were just completed. The cars were ready for the race right before that one. His was the last car to get done. So you kind of expect there might be problems. And speaking of problems, it looks like Aiello's got one. He can't get by Michel Bartels through the chicane. Here we go. Now we'll find out if there is a difference here in the top speed. This is the long straight. Down the front straight, it's actually downhill too. And let's see what happens here. If the Opel, look at this. The Opel pulls away. The Opel does have the top speed here. They have some other problems they can't seem to work out. But as far as top speed, it's there. Aiello closes in on the corners and will stay close and doesn't have enough to get by him. We'll get down to the lower part of the course now. We'll go through, we'll come down the hill, a slight bend, go into the 180. Then it's uphill, headed toward the long straightaway. And where Laurent Aiello is going to pass him, I'm not exactly sure. The way the car is running, Michel Bartels can stay out there. But Bartels has one problem. He's got to pit. He has to go in and change 4 tires. You just have to do it. He hasn't done it. So he's going to bask in the sunlight of sitting up in front here for a little while and certainly make life difficult for Laurent Aiello, because Aiello now has Bernd Schneider right on his back bumper. It looks like Bartels, in a way, although he's very, very fast, has also served the purpose of a pace car. Schneider has pulled up right behind Laurent Aiello. They're running in a train. And the 3rd and 4th place cars are also starting to pull up. Aiello wants to get by. Here's the move. Can he do it? No. Look at that. The Opel pulls him. The Opel's got the power down the straight. Bartels takes the line. There's going to be no room to pass. Amazing. Well, at least the Opel boys know the car will run. Now they've got to get it to run consistently and quickly through the corners. Get rid of the bugs that have been bothering you. As much as it's difficult for Laurent Aiello and for Bernd Schneider to watch all this with him in front, it's certainly a boost to the Opel team. Look at the difference there. He pulls away in the straights, no question. The Audi and the Mercedes can't keep up with him. Jaeger is running back in the 4th position. Tomczyk is running 5th. How much longer can Bartels go before he has to pit? That's the question. Everybody's pulling up. Look at this. Jaeger's pulling up. Tomczyk is pulling up. We're going to have quite a race to the finish here. There's a lot of space, but now the space that they had built up is gone. Aiello couldn't get much closer than that going in. And Bartels still does not pit. He's hanging out there, and he has a right. I'm out in front. You got to pass me. And right now, nobody can. What amazing performance here. And what frustration by Laurent Aiello. Although I'm sure his crew has told him that Bartels is out in front. He's got to watch in the back mirror. He's got, and behind them is the young Thomas Jaeger, who's put on a great show here. There's the crew. That's the Bartels crew waiting for him to come in. The Holzer team waiting. He has to pit. There's just no question. When he pits, we'll have a new leader. But right now, it's a chance for Opel to shine, as Audi has shown all weekend. The Opel fans and the Audi fans are some of the most loyal you're ever going to find. And when the cars start to run well, there'll be even more. And if this kind of competition continues up like it is, when they hit the street course down at the Nürburgring in Nuremberg, another 110,000 people will be there. It'll be jammed down there. The weather here certainly hasn't helped it this weekend. Foggy, cold, rainy, typical Eifel Mountain weather. But the faithful are here, and there he goes. Michel Bartels did the job. He put Opel up in front. He heads down into the pits. And now we're going to have the run to the finish. We got 4 laps to go. And in those 4 laps, let's see what happens. It's going to be a battle between Schneider and Laurent Aiello. Here comes Bartels. He makes the pit stop. He's going to come out, hopefully, with not too far back after putting on quite a show. Well, he's taking a little bit too long here. Taking longer than I'm sure they wanted to. This is going to cost him a lot of time. Bartels has got some real problems here. Bartels is dropping back. It looks to be right around 15th or 16th position. A long haul for him from there. So the person, Huisman, who came in with an early pit stop, didn't quite help him. And for Bartels waiting that long, well, didn't quite help him either. Everybody else came out with fresh tires. His tires had worn down. At least they know they can run anyway. That's the key. There's the Darren Turner Mercedes with problems. Spoiler problems. But the problem for Laurent Aiello here now is right behind him in his rearview mirror. Bernd Schneider. The laps are coming down here at the Nürburgring, the Grand Prix course. Now let's see what happens if Aiello can use his cornering speed to get ahead on this 2.83 mile circuit. Each of these feature races, incidentally, runs about 62, 63 miles, a little over 100 kilometers. Oh, and Bernd Schneider has made a mistake. It looked like he hit one of the curbs, kept control of the car, but now he's going to fight for his life against another Mercedes teammate. Thomas Jaeger is closed in. Schneider is now out of the championship run for this event. Unless something happens to Aiello, Aiello's got it. That mistake going over the curb cost Bernd Schneider too much time. Now he's got to keep his eye in the rearview mirror for Jaeger. There it is. He hit the curb. The car bounced. He lost it. He gets outside the normal line into the marbles, the loose stuff, keeps control of the car, but loses valuable time. So Laurent Aiello, your leader, not the way it is here on the chart. Abt is not the leader. Aiello is. Schneider now is going to have to hold on to his second place. And if he is able to hold on to second place, he'll hold on to the points lead he had coming in after the weekend. You get 20 points for a win, 15 points for second place. He picked up 3 at Hockenheim for the qualifying win, as did Aiello for winning here. So Schneider will hold on to the lead. As Jaeger went through a different line, Tomczyk wanted to get inside. He can't do it. So the cars have sorted themselves out pretty well. There's the battle with Fessler and Tomczyk. Whoa, this is getting tight. And they bump going into the corner. Alsen's in the middle. Alsen spins through. Tomczyk is not touched. Nobody's touched. Somebody liked these drivers. I don't know where it came from, but the luck factor here was unbelievable. Alsen wanted to make the move. He wanted to get by Fessler. At the same time, Fessler was trying to get by Tomczyk. And Tomczyk was defending himself as best he could. And into the chicane they went. And it was Alsen that sailed between them and lost the place. He did bump, as you can see, the Tomczyk car. Part of it's hanging out the back. Everybody kind of held their breath there. Now, you have to remember that Uwe Alsen is one of those drivers who will try anything to move up. And it doesn't bother him to do it. Let's take another look. There they are, 3 abreast into the corner. Alsen gets into the grass, slides through in front of Fessler behind Tomczyk, keeps control, and then drops back in behind Fessler. Wow, here's Alsen's look at it. Over the curb, over the grass. There goes Tomczyk. Goes off to the left, and on the right will come Fessler. That's a moment to get your heart started, isn't it? Hans-Jürgen Abt, co-owner of Abt Sportsline. This has to be the biggest moment in the year and more that he's been in the German Touring Car Masters. Last year, 18th, 19th, and 20th finished positions. Maybe one near the 10th or 11th or 12th position. But now he's got a chance for it all. What an amazing race. And Laurent Aiello, the Frenchman, dominated the Super Touring cars with Peugeot. Decided to take a chance with Audi. He's been a British touring car champion. Would like nothing more to win the title in Germany. And there goes Uwe Alsen, a spoiler off his car. A problem for Mercedes with that low spoiler. Well, he's going to try to bring it back out, but that tire doesn't look like it wants to be too nice to him about it. That's too bad. He was running right up in the lead group, too. Well, looking at see if he can, as far as he can get ahead. See if he can bring it home anyway. But the man that's bringing it home is right there. Laurent Aiello. He won at Sebring this year. Multi-talented driver. Very smooth, very competitive. And extremely tough to pass when the car is working. And right now, unless something happens, nobody's going to get by him here. This is the last lap into the chicane. It's made so much of a difference. Look how smoothly they go through there, using the curves. A lap car ahead of him. Makes no difference anymore. Here he comes, Laurent Aiello. Audi has won in the German Touring Car Masters, and they win at the Grand Prix course at the Nürburgring. Bernd Schneider, defending champion, is second. Jaeger is third. But there's your winner, Laurent Aiello. Oh, it's been a long year or more. Hans-Jürgen Abt. Mercedes team has come over to congratulate this long haul. And there it is, your top 8. Mostly Mercedes, but Abt and company certainly have their place at first and fourth. What a great show. Ekstrom for Abt comes in 9th. Timo Scheider, the best Opel, at 10th, but the day belongs to Laurent Aiello.
Extraordinary, I would say. First win in the DTM, first win for Audi, for the team Abt. I think it's wonderful, but it was a very tough race, especially the qualifying race. It was really tricky because very slippery. It was really easy to make a mistake and to go out of the track. And then in the second race, it was also very tough together with Bernd Schneider.
And so now the fans can celebrate, particularly the Audi fans. And so can Bernd Schneider. He's hung on to the lead in the points. Aiello has moved up into second. Fessler and Jaeger are third and fourth. And look at that, the 19-year-old Martin Tomczyk has come into sixth. What a great day for the young driver. There was a small strategic mistake. I waited too long to get my tires and I lost 2 places. Well, I could finally catch up and was faster, but I couldn't pass. But actually, I'm very happy with 4th place. And so it's time to celebrate, particularly for Laurent Aiello. And for Opel, well, more work ahead. We still haven't found the problem. We'll continue working on it. We've picked up a second between Hockenheim and here, and we believe we know the direction we have to go. We'll just have to continue on it on Monday. And so that does it for our coverage of the German Touring Car Masters here at the Nürburgring. The next stop on the tour, Oschersleben. This is Milt Fitzwater reporting. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.